Well, what's going on, Facebook family? Once again, it is on and popping. It is another Wednesday where
Yes,
we're going to be
sir.
getting it in because it is Wellness Wednesday, where your mental health matters and a
Matters.
healthy you
Is a better you.
is always a better you. My good brother from another mother,
Man,
Edward J. Brown in the building. Edward, how you doing, my friend?
what's going on, man? It's good to see you, man. It always
And
good to see you.
good to be seen,
We've been
and not
passing
to
each
be
other.
viewed.
Hey, look, the man says it's better to be on the earth than have the earth on you. That's
That's that's it, brother. That's it,
so
man.
it's been good, man. I know you've been super busy with the SWAC winding down, and
It's
the
it may
Jaguars have
it
broken my heart
it
again.
it may be the last game of the season coming up, not this Saturday, but Saturday after next, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, which is the
Are you
49th
classic?
annual Bayou Classic, and it may be Southern's last game of the season, depending on what happens this weekend.
You know, we didn't do what we needed to do. We didn't take care of business.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
we can be angry at everybody but the right body.
That's correct.
And I'm proud of the Jags. Coach Dooley, this is his first year, and I'm sure he's going to get in there and make some adjustments and changes, and hopefully we'll be back on the bluff ready to compete again next year.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's the part.
we won some, we lost some games we should have won,
Mm-hmm.
and we wouldn't have to be hoping that Texas Southern can beat that juggernaut of a team in Jackson State.
Well, no. Actually, we need we need Mississippi Valley to beat Prairie View.
Prairie View. That's right. That's right. That's
Now, if Mississippi Valley beats Prairie View and we beat Grambling, then things have changed. But once again, the chances of Mississippi Valley beating Prairie View are very
don't look good.
slim
Yeah, don't
to
look good.
none.
Don't look good. But again,
However, you never know
on
what happens
any given Saturday,
until
right?
you play the game. Now, here's
You
the
gotta
crazy
play the
thing.
game.
If they win and Grambling winds up doing what they did to us last year, then Houston, we still got a problem.
Correct. Because then was that bump TSU back up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Mm.
It puts TSU back where they need to be. So
And
it
like I tell people, you never leave
actually it
your
puts Prairie View back at where they need to be because I believe Prairie View beat TSU, and that will make it a tie between
but we
where
beat Prairie View.
right.
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 So
So it's
again, like
crazy.
we always say, you never put your fate in someone else's hands.
That part
Yeah.
right there. With
You
that
never
being
do.
said, man, with everything that's going on, the tragedy that happened in Virginia with the brothers on the
And
football
I'm gonna
team.
let you elaborate on that from a sports perspective. But I know before this day is out, because my brother has a tendency to always say what I'm about to say. So, like you said, we have so many things to talk about, but we're a week away from one of the major holidays, and
Right.
the holiday is not a good time for everybody.
Now, the holiday's not happy for everyone, and we're
So,
going to talk about that.
yeah,
Our prayers go out to the brothers from the University of Virginia and the
talk
tragedy
about
that
that, man. Tell me what happened. Enlighten us with what went on.
I'm still getting information, and I don't have all the news
Okay,
between them and the sister that went down to Mexico
Cabo.
and got the news back that supposedly she had alcohol poisoning, but then this video comes out that says no, there was no alcohol involved. It was
And she had a
literally her.
broken neck and a cracked
Right.
spine. Yeah.
Right. So times and things like this happening will definitely put us in a place that puts a strain on our mental health, puts our strain on who we can trust and who we can't trust.
Mm.
And during this time of season, some folks like myself, give you a prime example. I lost a very close family member some years back during the holiday season. To be exact, I got to look and see how many years it's been since my younger brother passed away. But I literally went to Memphis to bury him a week before Christmas.
Mhm. So every time we have what we call triggers in the therapeutic world, things that make you remember the holidays, a
Yeah.
song, a smell, anything. So yeah, we have a lot going on right now, and I think that we would be remiss to not spend, because we only have a few more podcasts left in this year.
Right. Correct.
So to take time to try to get as much in this hour as we can.
Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, my brother from another mother, Edward J. Brown. Take it away, my brother.
All right, we like Brother Dupree said, we have so much to talk about today. But one of the things I want to talk about first is the holiday season. And the holiday season coming up is a time where, for some of us, it brings an elaborate amount of joy and excitement. But on the other hand, the holidays bring the same amount of intensity of sadness and depression for some people. So, what I want to kind of put on our minds, the same way we do every year around this time, is during your festivity and during your joy and you're celebrating what you're thankful for Christmas and the concept of giving. I mean, what you're thankful for during Thanksgiving and the concept of giving during Christmas. I challenge and I make a plea to everyone to take one person and reach out to that person and make sure they're okay. As simple as just saying, hey, man, it's Thanksgiving. What are your plans? What are you going to do? Do you have family coming over? Are you going over to family? Are you cooking? And you'll be surprised. People say, well, I'm going to just stay around the house and watch television. Hey, would you like to come over? We're going to have Thanksgiving dinner. You're more than welcome. To some people, that could mean the world.
Correct.
Just a simple invitation. And even if you know they're going to say no, it would not hurt the next day when we're looking at all of this food that we always overcook. You fix a plate and you say, I'm going to run this plate over and just drop it off. Knock on the door. You don't need to stay. You don't need to converse. Here you go. Happy Thanksgiving. We had so much stuff. I just thought you might want a plate.
Mm-hmm.
That right there could be the difference between someone thinking about going on or someone thinking about ending their life.
Correct.
And we think about it as nothing. Oh, it's little. Yes, it's nothing to us, but it's major to other people. To those folks who suffer during the holidays, depression, sadness, I also have a challenge for you. Reach out and talk to somebody. Let somebody know how you're feeling. Let someone know that this is not a happy time for you. And it's okay to not be okay. You don't have to be around here because everybody else is happy and can't wait till Black Friday to spend money they don't have. You could just be feeling melancholy, feeling sad. This is that moment where you make a commitment to yourself. Not this year. This year, I'm going to reach out and I'm going to go. So we have a couple of things that we want to throw out here that you could do. If you're feeling sad and you're feeling a little melancholy, under the weather because of the holidays, I want you to try this. Find somewhere and volunteer. I'm going to tell you, when I was, I think I was a sophomore, maybe a junior at Southern, my family decided they were going to go and serve because in New Orleans, they rent out the convention center. And they have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people come and they serve them food. And every year they need servers. So this particular year, my family and I decided to go and we went 10, 15 deep. And when I tell you, to see these people sitting around that table conversing with folks they don't know, asking if they could have seconds, and just seeing them interact and fellowship, it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen in my life. Nobody was arguing, everybody was laughing. And in our society right now, we could use some joy. Volunteer somewhere. Just go in a soup kitchen or at a church or somewhere and go and fellowship with people that could use a kind word just like you.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Just go and hang out with these people and serve them and just be amongst other individuals. That's number one. Number two, take something that you really enjoy and decide to add to it. In other words, if you like food, find a inexpensive way to, because my mother loves the Food Network.
Okay.
I asked my mom, I said, Mama, you can't cook all of that stuff. She said, but I like watching people who can. She said, I like watching folks who can. Find something that you like to do and engage in that. I don't know if Mother Nature realized we in November, because we just got a couple of cool days for the past 2 days. Before that, it was 85 degrees. We may even be able to go outside on Thanksgiving.
Correct.
Find something that you enjoy and engage in it. I don't care what it is. As long as it doesn't hurt nobody and it doesn't hurt you, engage in it. There's going to be football galore on television.
That's true. Very
if
true.
You're not a football fan, if you're not a football fan, the holiday movies have started.
Correct.
It's one on there, because I'm going to tell you something. It ain't Christmas if I ain't see Frosty the Snowman.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
That's my
Rudolph. Joke. I got to catch out. I got to catch my man Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
See, for me, I'm a Frosty dude, and I like Charlie Brown. No pun intended, because my last name is Brown, but Charlie Brown is, if I didn't hear it's not Christmas for me.
Right.
So those are my things. If you can, find something you enjoy and engage in it. And the third and final thing, if you can't find anything that you think is worthy of being grateful for, I'm going to give you one right now. You are alive.
Amen.
And as long as you are alive, whatever circumstances are in your life, you can change.
That's true. That's very true.
That is the thing I don't get people understand. If things are not good, but you are still alive, you can change. You can work towards making a difference. We don't understand that. As much as we say, oh, this is that, as long as we believe there's a chance. We just spoke about my brothers down in Itta Bena having to handle business against, Prairie View.
Right. I think there's 1-7, 1-7 or 1-6, whatever they are. They've only had one win this year, but guess what? There's still hope, because the game hasn't been played yet.
If you can come on, that team that they won the one game against, that team didn't think they was gonna lose.
Correct.
So my thing is, as long as we are alive, there is opportunity for change. There is opportunity to change. That's what counseling does. Counseling gives you an opportunity, with help and assistance from professionals, to change things that we don't care for. So those three things are just three of the things I want you to consider if this is not a good time for you. Volunteer somewhere.
That's one. Number 2,
realize that there are things in your life that you enjoy and engage in those.
Number 2, come on.
And the third thing, if you don't know a reason to be thankful and happy, you are still alive.
Correct.
Therefore, change is possible.
Correct. And like we always say, the holidays are not happy for everyone. This is the time that I really want to reach out to other folks who are watching, who may be okay. It's now your time to give back by checking in on somebody. Like in the month of February, I always say, take a friend or a family member to the doctor for Black History Month, because many a times the reason some of us don't get the care we need, health care, is because we're too stubborn to go. And by the time we go and get checked out, we're in stage 4 or stage 3, when all we had to do was go get checked out.
Early detection.
early detection could have put us in a position that none of this was going on.
Correct.
Mentally, you've got to get people mentally in the same manner as you get them on the physical health side.
Correct.
When you start seeing things that you say, well, so and so just not themselves, you
Yeah.
got to start saying, look, maybe I need to get you somewhere where before this gets too deep in and you
Yeah.
wind up depressed, oppressed, suicidal, that
Mhm.
I get you somewhere and you begin to talk to someone and get this on the table where you can have help. Because at the end of the day, listen, there's a lot going on. There's young men. There's these young men and young women who are on a daily basis, very young, old enough to be our children, who are dying. That
Dying.
makes you highly concerned about your own children and
We're
not wanting to
losing
get
our
that
future. We're
right
losing
and
the future.
right and not wanting to get that phone call. That's a mental strain on you saying, oh my God, I pray to God that I never get that phone call. And just like we said about the expectations of winning and losing, just like some people don't expect to win, some people don't expect to lose. You
Correct.
don't expect to get that phone call until you get it.
Till you get it. That's right. We never know the day or the hour.
Right.
But people always ask me when I go places, well, what do you think about the state of mental health? I said, if you gave me 10 seconds, that's it. You said, I need you to say something extremely profound to someone or someone that has a thought about mental health. What would you say? And as quick as I can, I would say we need to normalize mental health. We need to normalize mental health services. Simple as that. We can take the stigma off. We can take the way people turn their face up and realize we do not turn our face up when people say, I have to go to the eye doctor. We do not turn our face up when people go to the dentist. We need to normalize when somebody say, hey man, I can't meet with you today. I got to go and see my counselor. We have to stop the stigma. And when people say, I got to go see my counselor, say, okay, man, well, call me when you get done or whatever. Definitely encourage them. Say, that was good looking out. I'm glad you went and did that. Instead of saying,
I want you to bookmark what you just said. We have to be a part of the solution.
Correct.
Not agents of the problem. We can't. What's wrong with you? Oh my God, are you going crazy? No, we should tell folks, if you feel you need to go get some professional help to resolve whatever issues going on in your life, we should applaud that and encourage that, and even say, would you like for me to go with you?
Absolutely.
Would you like for me to sit in the lobby with you? Would you like for me to help get you there? Because listen, suicide and depression is at an all-time high amongst communities of color. We're dealing with mass incarcerations. We're dealing with situations with our youth. We're dealing with situations of imminent perils that are coming at us on a daily basis. You turn on the TV, by accident, a rocket lands in another country that could start a whole world war. A lot of folks don't understand. If you sit down and start processing everything, like I said, we just
the elections. There's two options: either we win or they cheated us. I mean, it's so much going on, but we have to take a proactive instead of a reactive approach towards mental health. If someone is going because they feel themselves not being themselves, that is a proactive. But once someone has taken a fall and emotionally, and they no longer can perform at work or perform in their relationships or perform in their family, now we have to take a reactive approach. We need to normalize mental health and make it take a proactive approach, meaning we're going to put things in place to prevent people from having, symptoms that prevent them from functioning daily in their lives. But right now, we don't. Right now, we still keep it in the closet. We still are very hush-hush about mental health. That's until some type of mass shooting or or some societal traumatic event happens, then all of a sudden the first thing we want to do is talk about that person's mental health or their state of mind. You know, as a mental health provider for 33 plus years, one of the things that I find extremely troubling is the people who are making decisions for funding, and they sit in their ivory tower and they have no idea what's going on in the grassroots level. So what we have to do is continue to fight, continue to get out and vote, continue to ask people, is mental health important to you before something happened, or is it an issue for you to grab onto once something happens? Because to me,
I mean,
I wake up every day and mental health is important. Every day.
Correct.
Not when babies get killed or when there's a shooting, but every day mental health is important. And trying to find people who's willing to provide quality services and do so with little or almost no support from the government, because they're constantly cutting and cutting and cutting. But we have to remain vigilant, and we have to stay moving forward with our proactive approach on normalizing mental health services.
Well, you know, Brother Brown, as we move into the holiday season, one of the big strains is what you can provide for your family during this season, or AKA better known as keeping up with the Joneses. You know, it's sad when you see a child say, well, so-and-so got such and such. Why can't I get such and such? And then there comes the strain of the debt that is incurred. And then how do we get out of this? You know, some people literally almost lose everything trying to provide for family members during the holidays, instead of just being truthful and saying, if I got it, I got it. If I don't, I don't. Because at the end of the day, those gifts mean absolutely nothing if you put yourself in a position that you want to commit suicide and you leave this place. Because I was just reading, a young lady and her daughter steps in front of a train because the young lady could not get out of debt. The bills were so tremendous. She felt her only option was to get her daughter and herself and step in front of a train. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And family, we've got to do better. We just got to do better. I mean, when it comes down to it, we just got to do better. And we've got. Go ahead.
We don't understand what the real priorities are. And to think about that, I had a young lady that I met with just the other day. She's 11 years old. And just to show you, this transcends race, or she's not of the same race as me. And she started playing basketball for her school. And when I tell you, she looked good. She had all of the outfit on and the uniform and everything, and she was excited. And I asked her, I said, wow, you had a great game? She said, yeah. I said, well, why do you not seem very happy? She said, my dad never comes to my games. I said, well, he always has to do something and he doesn't make it. I thought about it. You could ask that little girl if she wanted anything in this world for Christmas. Or would you rather your dad come to one of your basketball games? I'm going to put my 33-year career on the line and say she would want that person to have her dad at the game. You know, and we are at that point now where we have to make better decisions. You can't put yourself in 2 years worth of debt for one day, Christmas morning. And that's what you're talking about, Brother Dupree. Or put that pressure on yourself that after Christmas, you need to go into therapy because you're extremely depressed. We have to normalize mental health treatment and practice better mental health practices. Know when you're overwhelmed. Know when you feel I need to maybe put this down and step away and do a little something for me. Because as a mental health professional, let me tell you something. Your mind will make you take a break. Your body will make you take a break. We need to be in tune with self to know our triggers. And self-care does not mean you're selfish. It means that you need to be the best you can be.
Correct.
You know, I just saw the comment that there's celebrities that talk about the importance of counseling.
Correct.
You know, there is an important, it gets to a point in your life where you realize you can't go through this life alone.
Look, and I want to say something right here. And I want y'all to really get what I'm about to say and understand why I'm saying it. You cannot deal with your mental health like some of you deal with your automobile.
Oh.
Some of your automobiles, you just go down to Freddie, who's got the cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Oh.
Like, sir.
About carburetor. It's the carburetor. Everything is carburetor.
Look, when it comes down to some of you and your mental health issues, instead of talking it over with the folks who seem to be the experts in the family, or the folks that seem to be the experts at church, or the folks that seem to be the experts at your job, you need to find you an expert. That's why I put up the website, positivechoicescounseling.org. These are licensed clinical individuals who know how to deal with you and know how to talk to you in a manner to bring about the healing. See, some folks want you to tell them your problems where they can have something to talk about. They want you to stay in your problems. They don't want you to resolve your problems. You talking to them about the problem puts them in a position where the problem becomes all of a sudden relevant to them to get conversation out. Family, find somebody professional who is about bringing healing to your situation, who can help you get to a place where there is a conclusion and this problem you have isn't a revolving door.
You know, and to have someone that is an expert or someone that is trained and skilled in the art of, you know, therapy or providing mental health services is what you need to have. Not your and again, I have no problem with clergy. You know, even my pastor says this is one that I need to send to you. I think this is something beyond my scope. As clinicians, we even have things that are beyond our scope, and we will refer you to people who have expertise in those areas. We are at the point in the year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, where everyone is going to have different reactions to the holidays. Some folks are going to be very happy. Some folks are not. Whatever it is, we gave you those 3 things that you can do if you are not. And we gave you 3 things if you are. Grab someone and bring them along your journey for this holiday season.
Come on.
You know, because you may be the difference between someone considering suicide and someone having a wonderful holiday season. All right. Now, I think that's all I'm going to say about that today. I wanted to talk a little bit about this case with this young lady in Cabo, because I think we have to really start to look at how our young people are defining what friends are. This young lady went to Cabo with her supposedly best friend and 4 other people, and she came back in a box. They were in cahoots enough to where they all had the same story. She died of alcohol poisoning. And then the video comes out where she's being savagely beat. And after the autopsy was done, there was no alcohol in her system. But she did have a broken neck. And she did have a cracked spine. My thing is, as a behaviorist, the thing that jumps out at me is the violent viciousness of that video.
Wow. Yes.
But number 2, they were not there 24 hours. So what could have gotten you so angry that you would do that? which leads me from a behavioral perspective to think this young lady had an issue with the young lady she was beating up before they got there.
Hashtag check your circle.
Yeah, because for her to get that angry that fast, I know there's a lot of questions out there, but we have to begin to teach our young people what the true word friendship means. Associates, people we know, are not always friends. A friend is someone that wants the best for you and will not settle for you not achieving your best. They'll tell you that's not a good idea, whether it's popular or not. A friend is not someone that's going to have you do things that's not in your best interest. Now, keep in mind, we have friends that'll do dumb stuff with us. That's called immaturity. But they would never want to hurt you or harm you like that. Beat you to where you die. My friends and I, the fights we had was only so, now that I look at that, I don't think we were fighting. We were just disagreeing. A couple of licks here and there. But we have young people that don't have coping skills on how to control their emotions. Now this lady's daughter came home and she's dead. We need to stop teaching our children that you need to be accepted by everyone. That's why bullying is where it is. That's why social media is such the rave. At some point, we need to start instilling in our children, what do you think of you? Let's not even think about anybody. What do you think of you? And that is the most difficult as an instructor.
And watch this. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
As an instructor, that's the most difficult.
My students at the university, if you want to see them shut down, I ask them, what do you think of you? Well, no, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Right.
Some of them will say, well, I think I'm the shit. Okay. And my thing is, you say that like you want me to disagree. What I think don't matter.
Correct.
If you think you are, then you are.
Correct.
Because what I think, in a quarter, you can get a cup of coffee, but you can get the coffee with just a quarter. So what I think don't mean nothing.
Correct. One of the sad things is I watched the video of the young lady is that the young man who was videoing it didn't ever once stop them from engaging into the conflict. Instead, he kept asking the question, why are you not fighting back?
Correct.
And I'm like, as a young man,
as a man,
you should have been separating the chaos. You should have been like, now that's enough. Okay, maybe whatever happened, but that's enough.
Exactly.
Instead, you're filming this as if this is some type of documentary. Which actually you filming a person's life leaving from them, and we are so caught up in this fight filming culture of showing
a video culture
in social media that that instead of stopping it, I had to video it.
Yeah, and that's where we are in this over sensationalized society we live in. Everything, the more drama, the better it is. The more we can get likes, the more we like it. But when do we get back in touch with the human side of us? the humaneness in our bodies, in our minds, and in our souls. When do we get back to that? To where we look and we say, hey, don't. I don't care that there's people out here videoing. We just buried one of the rappers from the Migos because of an argument. It's
Correct.
time for us to stop this conflictual relationship we have with complete strangers for no reason, let alone in our circles.
Mm.
I look at people and I say, if you don't like me, God bless you. How about that? That's as
Right.
much effort as I'm going to give you. Think about that. If you don't like me, God bless you. And I'm not going to give any more thought to that. We have young people dying every day because they can't deal with the fact that certain people don't like them. Now, my issue is people say, well, okay, that's a problem. What do we do? What we do is we get back to making sure we instill in our children the coping skills that they need. And that calls for us to do some things that's not very popular. Rear them, guide them, teach them, show them how they need to be. If we get back to that,
right,
you will see young people saying, that young girl that did not fight back probably felt she was amongst friends. We should not be fighting like this anyway. We're friends. We're in Cabo. I'm not going to do this. She felt she was amongst friends. We have to get people and start to instill. People say, okay, you say all of this and we do, well, what do we do with our children? We instill in them the coping skills that they need to exchange ideas, to converse, put the cell phones down, and articulate what you feel.
Right.
Stop texting, stop YouTubing, what's the Instagramming and the TikToking. Stop it and converse with me. Okay, you pissed me off. What did I do to piss you off?
Right.
The same way we spoke the last time we were on about the people at the Jackson State game with me. Live it.
Right.
I refused to resort to that level. I turned and I said, I never cussed you, not one time. I never called you out of your name one time.
Come on.
So now, on this note, we're done talking. Right. No. I turned around because I meant what I said. I was done. I have enough skills. I have enough conviction in myself for you to say F me and you call me an a-hole and I'm okay. Now I'm done with you. I have nothing to say to you.
So, Brother Brown, there was a comment put out here that says, what, and I'm going to put it up there, it says, what if the parent lacks skills? Well, we got to be real honest about this, and something that I brought up in a class a few days ago that I teach. Your perspective of life sometimes come from the surroundings that you
we call it environmental influencers.
Right. From your surroundings. A person who was raised in a lower income, urban or rural environment acts totally different than an individual who is in a upper income and has never knew what it was to fight or to struggle for a meal or a bill. that develops two different types of individuals, and you have to understand this. Sometimes you have babies raising babies, and that's not a social economical situation. I have a young lady right now who family is quite wealthy, but she was quite promiscuous at a young age and got pregnant. So a lot of times you have to ask yourself this: what am I doing to contribute to the solution and not continue to add to the problem? Because if you're not fixing the thing, you're trying to continuously put stuff on it to make the thing perpetuate and grow as a problem. Some people want you to have problems.
Yeah, well, to even elaborate on that question, I know we don't want to get back into the cliche, motto and things like that, but it takes a collective, a cornucopia, a collage of influences to help a child get those skills. It ain't going to just come from the parent. It's going to come from the school. It's going to come from their friends. It's going to come from everything that they interact with. I know people who their home life was jacked up. That's why they like school, because at school they got to interact with different folks and didn't have to deal with the drama. So we have to make this digital society we've created go back to that interactive type society we had when we were coming up. I think that's the answer. The parents don't have the skills these days because they were the beginning of that technological society. So they have poor communication skills. Now we're trying to make school, technologically, that's the forefront of it. Everything is technology. What about the interpersonal interaction? That's how we develop our skills. How do you learn how to deal with disappointment? From school. How do you learn how to deal with difficult people? From school. How do you learn how to deal with struggling and having to put forth extra effort? All of that was done in that environment. And we hoped when you got home, it was reinforced. But we do have a lot of parents that don't have these skills. But that does not relieve us as educators, as mentors, as elders. It does not relieve us of the duties of having to pick up this gauntlet and add to these kids. Yes, even when it means dealing with their foolish parents.
Correct.
Because sometimes, I'd say it all the time, if I act up in school, the last person I wanted you to call was Gail Brown. But now the kids say, call my mama, call my daddy. So we have to not be afraid of that. We have to say, listen, I know this may be difficult for you to believe, but I want the best for your child as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it does not benefit him for us to be at odds because you want him to like you as his mama. He acting up in my class. That's unacceptable. I need you to get on board and say that's unacceptable too. Simple as that. He can't act up in my class. It's not all right with me. And he needs to hear you say it's not all right with you. So to answer that question is we have to get this whole village approach back and get from behind cell phones, get from behind computers, because trust me, if Brother Dupree and I were in the same city, we'd be doing this show face to face.
Correct.
He'd be on one side of the table, I'd be on the other side of the table. Because we understand the importance of interacting. Therapy is going to telehealth. Mm-hmm. I am understanding now, and what I always say is if it's okay with the client, so be it. But if you ask me what my preference is, I'm an old school guy.
Face to face.
I prefer the face to face. But I understand we're in 2022. We're coming off the end of a pandemic. So yes, we're going to do these things. And times are changing. That too.
Right.
So we want to let people know we have to develop the skills in our society to deal with what's going on. People are struggling with this pandemic thing.
Correct.
I just came off a little bout. I think I had bronchitis. But you want to see people look at you crazy? Cough. Wait a minute, that's the society we
What's
live
really
in.
going on?
Yeah,
Right, what's really going on?
that's the society we live in. But it
Correct.
does not mean we all did not develop coping skills. I'm reaching in my pocket because I don't go anywhere without my
Without hand
sanitizer.
without
It's in
hand
my pocket.
sanitizer. Right,
So
right.
we've all developed skills to make it through this pandemic. We need to instill in our children the skills to be able to talk and converse and identify what's genuineness and what's not,
Correct.
because they're dying. They are dying. So we have to develop the skills in them against all resistance. And like you say, we have babies having babies. People are grandparents at 40 years old now, 44 years old. You're a grandparent. So, until we start to realize that the reason our young people are struggling is because they do not have the skills necessary to succeed in our society. And please don't get me wrong. I love technology. I'm a gadget guy. Now I don't understand how all of it works, but I like it. I like being able to walk in a room and say, "Hey Google, turn on the lights," and "Hey Google, this." I really do like it. So for me, I know though from a behavioral perspective, these children are not developing the skills they need to function in society. I had a student right now. I have a student right now that has not been to class but twice this semester. And he literally said, "Y'all too hard on us." Now, I said, brother, I would be less than an instructor to let you leave here with that nonsense in your head.
Come on now.
This is not high school. We're not going to come to your room, wake you up, dress you, walk you to class, sit you down in the seat, give you paper and pencil. We're not going to do that. Because college is an institution of higher learning for young adults. We are going to give you skills to go into the workforce so that you can be a productive citizen and create the quality of life you want to have.
Correct.
If I give you a grade, you're going to leave here, graduate with a degree that we're going to give you, and you're going to go outside and expect people to give you a job, and then you're going to want them to give you a paycheck. At what point do you have to engage? If we let you call the shots, never.
Because nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
Yeah, so I think, again, we started talking about this young lady who was really tragically, we realize now that she was murdered, because I think that there was some deception amidst that circle of what their relationships were.
Right.
Friends don't do that to friends.
Right.
So again, it's very important to me that we take our time out to educate our young people, give them the skills they need so that they can go through life and they can, because for me, if I was that young lady, I would have said, you know what, I'm out of here. I got to go and find me in my own room, do whatever I have to do, call my parents. Something. I need to get out of here because this is not good. Nothing good come from this.
It was crazy because the video, she's literally not even dressed in the video. So it was, it's disturbing, it's troubling. Then to find out that the only way justice can be served is it has to be served in the country that the incident occurred in.
Oh,
so
really?
It has to go all the way. Yes. You can't prosecute somebody in the United States of America for a crime that was occurred in another country.
Wow.
Yeah. So and those are the facts.
My thing is that I think that this young lady, again, not having been in the country 24 hours, that stemmed from something here before they even got there. So I believe that we need to watch how this unfolds and be very, very, locked in on what, so we can teach our kids. And now, here's something I want to say. Now, for any young person that's watching this, now you want to understand, now you should understand why we say, so who going? The minute you say, Mom or Dad, can I go? Who going? And then, well, so and so, no, I don't like that little girl. No, I don't like that little boy. Now, what I didn't put out there, and I don't know if it has any relevance, and I didn't want people to grab a hold of it, is that supposedly the young lady that was beating her is actually a transgender. I read an article today that is actually a transgender man. So to me, that's really relevant after the beating I saw. It's really relevant.
Correct.
So again, we have to take time out to make sure our young people are ready for what this world is going to throw at them, and that they're capable and they have the skills necessary to be successful.
Correct.
So, Brother Dupree, what's your plans for the holidays, man?
Brother, let me come on.
When are you going down for the Classic?
Friday morning, okay. The day after Thanksgiving. It will be as always. Now, the Classic this year is at 1:00 and it's back on NBC. There are a lot of people who are involved with Southern and Grambling and the Bayou Classic in general who are very happy about that. At the end of the day,
I remember when it used to be at 1:00, and I remember when it was on NBC.
Yeah, so it's back at 1:00 on NBC, not NBC Sports. It's a time that I call it the big family reunion between Southern and Grambling folks, because we were HBCU popular before HBCU became popular to everybody else. So I was HBCU when HBCU wasn't cool.
Correct. I remember when Bayou Classic was and still is the biggest classic and the gathering of Black people, and then Essence came. Prior to Essence, it was the Bayou Classic.
Correct.
And New Orleans was the largest gathering of African Americans in New Orleans. Well, from Mardi Gras and stuff like that, but
right. And best of luck to both teams. Of course, I'll kind of go through that probably the next time we come on. Speaking of which, wait a minute. Next Wednesday will be the eve. When we come on next Wednesday, it will be the eve of Thanksgiving. As you see, I highly suggest you go see Wakanda Forever. I went and saw it. I enjoyed myself. You see, I have my Black Panther shirt on.
I see you got your Black Panther shirt on.
Now here's what I want to say about that, because your mental health does matter. Folk, understand this. The comic book of the Black Panther has been around for quite a while. See, the Black Panther was popular with guys like me before it became popular with everybody else in Chadwick Boseman. I knew who King T'Chaka and T'Challa was back in the cut, because that was my thing. I'm going to bring out another Black character in comic books a lot of you don't know that I think is going to come to the forefront real soon. The name John Stewart. You can Google that and find out who he is in the comic books. But a lot of folks said, man, I was disturbed with the movie because of ABC. Well, ABC actually was like what it went down in the comic book.
Right.
So don't think that there's some hidden agenda.
Don't read the comic books like I did. I read the comic books too.
Right. So when folks say what they're trying to do is take certain things from certain individuals, well, if that's the case, they were trying to do it back in the comic book days of the 70s when I was collecting all these comic books, because what happened in the movie is what happened in the comic book. Correct. And sometimes what is happening might not be what you want to have happen, but what is happened in the comic book. Many a times things are wrote the way they wrote for whatever reason they're wrote. But it is what it is. Speaking of which, I have them right here. The Black Panther.
You got the gold one.
Yeah, I got the gold one. I got the gold one. I collect the now John Stewart. Since I brought his name up, I'm gonna try to give you a guess, but this is John Stewart right here, one of my most favorite
Okay.
uh uh
Green
comic
Lantern.
character comic characters of color. So I
That's
mean,
Green
listen,
Lantern.
family,
Is that the Green Lantern?
that's the Green Lantern, and I am
Okay.
a Lantern fan. And Black Adam came, and a lot of folks right now
You
say,
know who
"Wow,
mine? You know who mine is?
who?
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. That's it, Luke
Power
Cage.
Man. Remember? Now,
Yeah,
if anybody want to watch a good documentary,
come on,
a good series,
come on,
go and watch Luke Cage on Netflix.
right?
Now, for me, and as I turned a whole bunch of people onto it, you know what I believe was the star of that whole series?
Come on, talk to me.
Harlem.
Come on,
They
come
shot
on.
it in Harlem.
Right.
And everything, it was so. Luke Cage on Netflix was by far one of the best series I watched, not just because it was one of my favorite African American comics, but Harlem was the star of that show to me. I mean, it has an all-star cast, don't get me
Correct.
wrong, but every time they showed somewhere and it was a neighborhood in Harlem or it was a club in Harlem and the entire show was shot in Harlem. Extremely good series to watch. Luke Cage on Netflix.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of great superheroes. As I come to a close, and I'm about to give these last 3 minutes to my brothers. Listen, understand your now. Listen, this is something you really need to listen to what I'm saying because we all fail in this, present company included. Our children, we are our children's superheroes. Fathers and mothers. We are the first ones that they fall in love with, the first ones that they put trust in, the first one that they believe we can do what nobody else can do. Uh, you know, let us understand that carries a great deal of responsibility, and sometimes we fall short. I fell short many a times with my children in many a ways, but now I'm at the point where I understand this. You can't go back and fix some of the things that were broken. However, you can move forward and be a better you and realize the mistakes you made and not make those mistakes again. So that has a lot to do with your mental health because when you're sitting around sometimes trying
Well
to,
said, brother. Well said.
when you're sitting around in this time of year trying to make up for some things that you can never make up for. As I had to tell somebody, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But at the end of the day, you've got to be good with you and knowing that whatever you did it to the best of your ability to be the best person you could be.
There was
Not
an
only
instruction manual, we'd have did better, but it wasn't.
right. So with that being said, let me turn over these last few minutes to my brother Edward Brown.
Well, again, another great hour we spent together, but we would not want you to walk away without realizing if this holiday season is not joyous for you, reach out, find someone, fellowship, even if you have to force yourself to leave the house of fellowship. I challenge you to find something you enjoy doing and do it. If you don't have anything to be thankful for, know this: you are alive, and as long as you are breathing on this earth, change is possible. To my young people, we are not giving up on you. We haven't thrown in the towel. We want you to know that you are our future, and we're working diligently to make sure that future is bright. And last and finally, we always say, if no one else tells you, we love you. And if we don't see you guys, happy Thanksgiving. We'll be back next week. Have a good one. Peace.